I never thought I'd hear that laugh again. The one that had split something deep inside me the night everything fell apart. And yet, here it was, soft, sharp, lingering in the corner of my memory, crawling back into the present. Before we dive into the part 2 full story, tell us in the comments which country you're watching from, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more real stories. I stepped cautiously into the dim hallway of the old house, my own heartbeat loud enough to echo against the cracked walls. The door I had left slightly ajar yesterday was still swinging on its hinges. I froze for a moment, staring at the faint outline of someone standing beyond it. Is that really you?" I whispered. My voice cracked, betraying a mixture of hope and fear. From the shadows, a familiar silhouette emerged. Her hair, long, slightly unkempt, fell over her face, but I knew the way she held herself, the weight in her eyes. It was her, Mara. She tilted her head, her lips curling into that same, unsettling smile. "You always leave, but somehow I find you." I swallowed hard, stepping forward despite the trembling in my legs. Why now, after everything?" Her laugh was softer this time, but it cut through me all the same. After everything, yes, but some doors, once opened, never truly close. I clenched my fists, memories flooding back, the fights, the betrayals, the nights I swore I'd never return. And yet, here I was. I had to know why she was here, what she wanted. The silence stretched, heavy and unbearable, until I finally asked, "Are you here to hurt me or to explain?" Mara's eyes glimmered with something I couldn't read. Pain, amusement, revenge? "Maybe a bit of both," she said, stepping closer, letting the dim light catch the glint in her eyes. I backed up instinctively, the old wooden floor creaking under my weight. The smell of dust and old wood filled the air, mingling with something unfamiliar, something sweet, almost like burnt sugar. My stomach twisted. "You've been here all along." She shrugged, a slow, deliberate motion. "I've always been around, watching, waiting. Some things don't let go that easily, not me, not the past." I wanted to argue, wanted to tell her she had no right to come back into my life, but the words caught in my throat. I could see the familiar sharpness in her eyes, the same spark that had once drawn me in, the same danger I had learned to fear. "Why now?" I asked again, softer this time. "After all these years." Mara took a step closer, and I could see the faint tremor in her hands. Not fear exactly, but something. "Because," she whispered, "time doesn't heal everything. Sometimes it just hides it." I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. "What do you want from me?" Her smile widened, but it was sad this time, almost vulnerable. "I want you to see, to remember, to understand." A memory hit me suddenly, the night it all ended. I had left, thinking I could escape, thinking I could leave her behind. But some part of me had always known return. I had always known Mara had a way of pulling me back, whether I wanted it or not. "You shouldn't have come back," I said, my voice trembling. "You have no idea what's waiting for you here." She tilted her head, studying me, as if reading my every thought. "Oh, I know exactly what's waiting. That's why I came." The hallway grew colder, shadows stretching like fingers across the walls. I could feel the tension tightening around my chest, making it hard to breathe. Every instinct in my body screamed at me to leave, to run, but I couldn't. Not yet. "I don't understand," I admitted. I thought we were done." Mara shook her head slowly. "Done? No, we were never done. You just chose to ignore it, but the world doesn't work that way. Pain, truth, they don't just disappear because you walk away." I swallowed hard. My mind raced through all the things I had tried to forget, the broken promises, the nights filled with tears, the voices in the dark that had whispered warnings I had refused to hear. And now they all came rushing back, sharper than ever. "You can't stay here," I said firmly, though my voice faltered. "This house, it's not safe. Not for you, not for me." She took a step closer, closing the distance, her eyes never leaving mine. "Safe? Safety is an illusion. You of all people should know that by now." I felt a chill run down my spine. There was truth in her words, terrifying and undeniable. I had built walls around my life, thinking I could control everything, shield myself from the chaos. But Mara, she had always been the storm I couldn't escape. A sudden noise from upstairs made both of us freeze. The sound of a door creaking, followed by a soft, dragging shuffle. My heart jumped into my throat. "Did you hear that?" Mara nodded slightly, her eyes narrowing. "I did. Someone's here, or something." I instinctively reached for the old baseball bat leaning against the wall, gripping it tightly. "We need to be careful. This house, it's not empty." She smiled faintly, almost approvingly. "Good, you haven't changed. Still cautious, still alive. That's why I came back, because we're stronger together, or we'll fall together." I looked at her, the woman who had been both my greatest love and my deepest nightmare. My mind screamed to run, but my body refused. Somehow, someway, I knew she was right. We were bound to this place, to this moment, to each other, whether I liked it or not. The hallway seemed to grow darker, shadows stretching like living things across the walls. I could feel the weight of the past pressing down, pressing in, as if the house itself remembered everything we had done, everything we had left behind. "Stay close," I whispered. "Whatever's upstairs, we face it together." Mara nodded, her expression softening for the first time. "Together," she echoed. And as we took our first step toward the staircase, I realized this was only the beginning. The night was far from over, and the secrets waiting in the dark were more dangerous than anything I had imagined. I could feel it in my bones. The shadows of the past were awakening, and there was no turning back. The dragging sound upstairs grew louder, accompanied by a faint whisper of my own name. The stairs groaned under my weight, each step echoing like a warning through the hollow house. Mara was right behind me, silent but present, her eyes sharp, scanning every shadow. My grip on the baseball bat tightened, knuckles white. As we reached the top landing, the hallway stretched before us like a tunnel of forgotten memories. The air was heavy, musty, carrying the scent of old paper, wood, and something else, metallic, sharp, almost like blood. My stomach twisted. "Do you feel that?" I whispered, my voice trembling. Mara's gaze followed mine, narrowing. "I feel it. Something's not just upstairs. It's waiting, watching." A soft creak came from the far end of the hall. I froze. It was deliberate, slow, like someone testing if we were paying attention. My heart pounded in my chest. "Who's there?" The hallway remained silent. Then a whisper. "Don't come closer." I jumped back, swinging the bat instinctively. Mara placed a hand on my arm, stopping me. "SHH, listen." The whisper came again, this time clearer, sharper. "I know you." Mara's eyes widened, a flicker of fear crossing her face for the first time. "It knows your name," she said. I swallowed hard, realizing she was right. Whoever or whatever was up here, it knew us. The memories we tried to bury, the mistakes we thought were long gone, all of it had followed us here. I forced myself to move forward, each step heavier than the last. The source of the sound was the old study room at the end of the hall. Its door was slightly ajar, just like the door downstairs had been. I glanced at Mara, who nodded. Together, we pushed it open. The room was a time capsule. Dusty books lined the shelves, their pages yellowed. A single lamp flickered weakly on the desk, casting long shadows across the floor. And then I saw it. A small, leather-bound journal lay open on the floor, its pages filled with handwriting I recognized instantly. My own. I froze, staring at the words. They were from years ago, memories I had written down and forgot, thoughts I had locked away. And yet someone or something had been reading them. Mara crouched beside me, her fingers brushing the pages. "This isn't just a memory," she whispered. "It's a message. Someone wants you to remember everything." The dragging sound returned, louder this time, coming from the corner of the room. I turned slowly, and my breath caught in my throat. A figure stood there, cloaked in shadow. Its face was hidden, but I could feel its eyes on me, piercing, unrelenting. "Who are you?" I demanded, my voice shaking. The figure tilted its head, the motion slow, deliberate. "I am the truth you ran from, the past you tried to bury, and now it's time to pay attention." Mara stepped closer, placing herself between me and the shadow. "You won't touch him," she said firmly. The figure chuckled softly, a sound that made my blood run cold. "I am not here to touch. I am here to remind, to show. To reveal what you've hidden from yourself." I felt a shiver run down my spine. This was more than a person. This was something that had been waiting, observing, feeding on our fear and our memories. "Why now?" I asked, my voice barely more than a whisper. The shadow leaned forward slightly. "Because the time for hiding is over. You cannot move forward without confronting what you left behind." I glanced at Mara. Her hand was still on my arm, grounding me, keeping me from bolting across the room. "We have to know," she said. "We have to see it through, otherwise it will never stop." The figure moved closer, stepping out of the shadows just enough for me to see the face, and my breath caught in my throat. It wasn't a stranger. It was someone I had known, someone I thought was gone, someone who had vanished the night everything changed. "You," I whispered, my mind racing, memories colliding in a storm of disbelief. "But how?" The figure's lips curved into a small, knowing smile. "I never left. You just stopped looking for the truth." Mara's hand tightened on mine. "Who is this?" she demanded, her voice steady but tense. The figure looked at both of us, eyes cold and unreadable. "Call me Leora, and I've been waiting for the right moment to come back." My heart pounded. The name sounded familiar, but every memory of Leora was wrapped in shadows, half remembered, like fragments of a dream I had tried not to recall. "You left me," I whispered, the words catching in my throat. "All those years you disappeared. Why?" Leora tilted her head, her eyes locking onto mine. "I didn't leave. I was trapped. And now it's time to finish what was started." The room grew colder. The lamp flickered violently, casting long, shifting shadows across the walls. The journal on the floor flipped open as if moved by an unseen hand, pages fluttering wildly. My own handwriting stared back at me, each word a reminder of choices I had made, secrets I had kept. Mara stepped in front of me, unwavering. "Whatever this is, we face it together," she said, her voice firm. Leora's smile widened. "Good, you'll need each other, because what comes next will change everything." The dragging sound returned again, but this time from inside the walls themselves. A whisper echoed through the room, faint but unmistakable. "It's time to remember." I felt the weight of years pressing down on me, every mistake, every secret, every unresolved memory converging in this moment. And deep down, I knew Mara was right. We couldn't run anymore. Not from the past. Not from Leora. Not from the house itself. I took a deep breath, gripping the bat tighter. "Show us," I said, my voice steady despite the fear clawing at me. "Show us everything, and we'll face it together." Leora's eyes glimmered with satisfaction. "Good, then let the reckoning begin." And with that, the shadows in the room deepened, wrapping around us. And the past that had haunted me for so long started to stir, awake and alive. The walls themselves seemed to breathe. Whispers multiplied, echoing names, memories, and secrets I thought were long gone. And then, a single phrase cut through the chaos. "You cannot escape what lies beneath." The whispers followed us as we stepped further into the study, twisting through the corners of the room, climbing the walls. Each word felt like a cold finger tracing the spine of my memories. Myra stayed close, her hand brushing mine occasionally, a silent anchor in the storm of fear. I don't understand," I whispered, voice trembling. "Why are you here? What do you want from us?" Leora's gaze was steady, her presence unsettlingly calm. "You've been running for too long." "Running from memories, from mistakes from me. I didn't come back to punish you. I came back to reveal, to remind you of what you've hidden, even from yourself." Myra's jaw tightened. "Reveal what? You're not making any sense." A sudden gust of wind swept through the room, rattling the papers, flipping the pages of the journal. On one page, a map was drawn, faint lines and markings barely visible. My eyes widened. I knew that map. It was part of a place I had never wanted to remember. "What is this?" I asked, pointing at the sketch. Leora knelt, her fingers tracing the lines as if reading a secret code. "The hidden room, the place you swore you'd never go back to, but it's calling you, and the truth waits there." I swallowed hard. My memories protested, warning me to stay away. But something inside me, some unfinished part of me, pushed forward. "The hidden room, is it real?" "It's very real," Leora said, her voice softened, almost gentle. "And it's time you faced it. The past is not gone. It's alive, waiting for you to finally see it." Mara's grip on my arm tightened. "Do we have a choice?" Leora smiled faintly. "Choices are illusions when the past calls. You can turn away, but it will find you anyway. I'm just giving you a chance to face it on your terms." The study grew darker, shadows stretching unnaturally, walls seeming to breathe. I realized then that this house wasn't just a building, it was a living memory holding every secret I had tried to bury. "Lead the way," I said, voice shaking but determined. "I'll face it, whatever it is." Leora rose, turning toward the back of the study. She moved with a confidence that made my skin crawl, stopping in front of a large, dusty bookcase. She pushed it aside, revealing a hidden door. The air from behind it was cold, dry, and smelled of earth and old metal. "This is it," Leora said softly. "Beyond this door lies everything you've tried to forget." I stared at the door. My heart raced. Images flashed in my mind, old faces, forgotten promises, the night I had vowed never to return. Myra squeezed my hand. "We're in this together," she whispered. I nodded and pushed the door open. It creaked, revealing a narrow staircase descending into darkness. The steps were uneven, carved from stone, slick with age. The shadows below seemed to pulse, alive. As we descended, the whispers grew louder, more urgent. Names I had long buried echoed through the stairwell. Memories I had locked away pressed against my mind like an invisible force. At the bottom, the staircase opened into a cavernous room. It was vast, filled with relics, objects, and symbols that felt impossibly familiar. Each item stirred a memory, a moment I had forgotten, and at the center, a large mirror. Its surface rippled, almost like liquid, reflecting not just our images but our past. Leora stepped forward. "The mirror shows what you deny. Look carefully and you will see yourself, all of yourself." I approached slowly, my reflection warping and shifting. Faces of people I had known, choices I had made, mistakes and betrayals, and moments of love and loss, everything was there. And then a shadow moved in the mirror independently of me. Who is that?" I whispered. Leora's eyes were unreadable. "It's the part of you you've been running from, your hidden self. It's time to reconcile, to face what you've denied." Myra stepped beside me, looking at her own reflection. Her face flickered with sadness, fear, and anger. "We've both been hiding," she said softly. "From ourselves, from each other." The mirror rippled again, and suddenly the room shifted. We were no longer in the hidden chamber. It was the night that had started all of this. The air smelled of smoke and rain. Shadows moved as if alive, and in the distance, a scream echoed, one I recognized instantly, my own. "Stay close," Myra whispered, gripping my arm. I nodded, trying to steady myself. "We face this together." Leora's voice came from all directions. "Remember, the past is a lesson, not a curse, but only if you are brave enough to see it fully." The mirror pulsed, pulling us forward into the memory. The past and present blurred, and I realized that confronting Leora was not enough. To survive, to truly move forward, we would have to confront everything hidden in this house, everything buried in our minds. And as the shadows of memory closed in, I understood one terrifying truth. The hidden room was only the beginning. The mirror shimmered, and Leora's reflection whispered in a voice only I could hear. "The next door will not open for the faint of heart. Are you ready to step through?" The mirror's surface rippled again, and the hidden room around us dissolved into the night I had tried so desperately to forget. Rain-slicked streets stretched endlessly, dimly lit by flickering lamps. Shadows moved like living things, whispering the names of those I had lost, and the weight of every choice I had made pressed heavily against my chest. Mara gripped my arm, her fingers trembling. It's like we're back there," she whispered. Her voice cracked under the tension. "Yes," I said, swallowing hard. "But it's more than that. It's showing us everything. Not just what happened, but what we didn't see, what we ignored." A figure stepped out of the darkness ahead. My heart froze. The face was familiar, hauntingly familiar. It was someone I had thought long gone, someone I had blamed for years, yet never truly understood. I began, my voice breaking. "It can't be." Leora appeared behind us, silent, watching with those unreadable eyes. "What you see is not just them," she said. "It's the truth of what led you here. You've been holding onto a lie, and it's time you faced it." The figure moved closer, stepping into the light of a flickering lamp. It was my mentor, the one who had vanished the night of the fire. But his eyes, they held no malice, only sorrow. "You never knew," he said softly. "You only saw the surface. The fire wasn't what you thought. It was a warning, not a punishment. And yet you've let it define you, even destroy you." Mara gasped, stepping back. "How is this possible?" The mentor shook his head. "Because truth is complicated, and fear blinds you. You were too afraid to look deeper, too afraid to forgive yourself and me." I felt my knees weaken. Memories I had pushed away surged back. The night of screams, the choices I had made in panic, the betrayal I thought was theirs, not mine. I've carried this wrong my entire life," I whispered. "I blamed everyone but myself." "Exactly," Leora said. "And that burden has made you vulnerable. Vulnerable to the shadows that still linger in your mind. But acknowledging it is the first step. Accepting it. That is the second." The mentor extended his hand. "Walk with me through this memory. See it fully without fear. Only then can you be free." Mara and I exchanged a glance. Nodding, we stepped forward together. As our feet touched the cobblestones, the past shifted again. We were no longer spectators, we were participants. Every choice I had made, the lies, the omissions, the misjudgments, played before us in vivid detail. I saw my own face, pale with fear, making decisions I now understood were born of desperation, not cruelty. I saw Mara, powerless to stop me, yet always standing by. And I saw those I had lost, not as villains, but as victims of circumstance, of misunderstanding. Tears blurred my vision. I'm sorry," I said aloud, not just to Mara, but to everyone in that memory. "I'm so sorry for everything." The mirror pulsed, and the shadows around us began to dissolve. The mentor's figure smiled, and for the first time he seemed at peace. "Acknowledgement is liberation. Forgiveness is your power. Do not waste it." But just as relief began to wash over me, a new shadow emerged, one darker, more malevolent. It was not part of the memory I recognized. It was something new, something that had been waiting. Leora's voice cut through the silence, sharp and commanding. "Do you feel it, that presence? That's what remains, what you've not faced. And it's far more dangerous than anything you've seen so far." The shadow advanced, tendrils of darkness creeping along the ground like living things. Myra clutched my arm. What is that?" she whispered. "Your fear," Leora said, "manifested, unchecked, unseen. And it feeds on regret, lies, and doubt. If you hesitate, it will consume you." I swallowed, trying to steady my shaking hands. "Then we don't hesitate, we face it, together." The shadow surged, and I realized that facing the past was not enough. We needed to confront the darkness we had ignored all along, the part of ourselves we feared, the choices we regretted, and the truths we denied. And as the tendrils of shadow coiled closer, I understood that the journey was only beginning. The hidden room had revealed the past, but the present, the real battle, lay ahead. The shadow lunged, but Leora's voice rang out, echoing in the darkness. "Do not run, do not hide. Step into the darkness, or it will step into you." The shadow loomed, its tendrils stretching toward us like living smoke, twisting and writhing with every heartbeat. Myra clutched my arm, her nails digging in, but I felt a strange calm. After everything we had seen, after confronting the truth of our pasts, fear had lost some of its power. Leora stepped forward, her eyes glowing faintly in the darkness. "Do not run, do not fight blindly. You must embrace it. Only by accepting the shadow within can you overcome it." I swallowed, looking at Myra. "Together?" I asked. "Together," she whispered, nodding. We stepped forward, hands clasped toward the black tendrils. The shadow hissed, recoiling slightly as if sensing our resolve. It was a living embodiment of all our fears, our guilt, regrets, and the lies we had told ourselves. I closed my eyes, breathing deeply. Images of my failures, my lost friends, and my mistakes flashed before me. The shadow shrieked, thrashing violently as if trying to push the memories away. But I didn't turn. I didn't run. I faced each image, numbing the truths I had hidden from myself. I was afraid, I made mistakes, I hurt people I loved, I blamed others because I didn't forgive myself. Myra joined in, her voice trembling but strong. I was scared too. I stayed silent when I should have spoken. I let fear control me. The shadow shuddered, a sound like cracking glass echoing through the room. The darkness around us began to waver, revealing a faint light beyond. Leora's voice guided us. "Step into the light. Only together can you banish this." We moved forward, and the shadow lashed one final time, trying to reach our hearts. But this time, instead of resisting, we embraced the fear, acknowledged it, and let the light we had found in each other flow into it. The shadow screamed, a sound like 1,000 broken souls, and then dissolved into nothingness. Silence fell. The room, once dark and oppressive, now glimmered softly with a warm, golden light. I sank to my knees, exhausted but free. Mara sat beside me, holding my hand tightly. For the first time in years, the weight of guilt and fear felt lighter. "You did it," Leora said quietly, appearing beside us. "You faced the past, you confronted the darkness, and you survived. That is your strength." I looked up at her, tears in my eyes. "It's over?" "Not entirely," she said, a shadow of seriousness crossing her face. "The past is always with us, but you have learned to carry it without letting it consume you. That is the lesson. The real challenge is still ahead." Before I could ask, Leora stepped back, fading into the light. In her place, a new figure appeared, one I had never seen before, cloaked and silent, watching us intently. A sense of danger, unlike anything before, hung in the air. Myra shivered. Who is that?" I didn't answer. My gut told me this was a warning, a promise that our journey was far from over. The hidden truths we had uncovered were only the beginning. The golden light dimmed slightly, leaving us standing on the threshold of the unknown. I looked at Mara, feeling both fear and determination. "We survived this," I said, my voice steady. "Whatever comes next, we face it together." And as the figure's gaze bore into us, I realized that the story of our lives, our battles, our fears, our love, was only beginning a new chapter. A chapter that would demand courage, truth, and choices that could change everything once more.